Hi again, and thank you for watching my video. This video is one of several that I intend to make to answer the question, why is the Afghan story an American story? In late August of 2021, the United States evacuated tens of thousands of Afghans from the Kabul airport. You might remember images from the news in late August of that year, 2021. Many people running alongside an airplane taking off, trying to hang on to that airplane. In some news stories, it showed several bodies actually falling off of that airplane. Those people fell to their deaths. That was my first exposure to what was happening with the evacuation, and seeing that news footage caused me to act. And luckily, I was able to get a position at Fort Bliss, Texas evacuee camp, where I first met my friend, we'll call him Zach. I landed in El Paso on August 29th, 2021. That started my 4-month deployment working at Fort Bliss. During that time, the whole team was responsible for in-processing and resettling 11,340 of our Afghan allies. So how did I meet Zach? Well, after a couple of weeks of working at camp, I was riding in the bus and I looked out in the barracks area at everybody just walking. I saw a couple of people, and amongst them was a man who looked just like everybody else. The only difference was that I saw his shirt sleeve was torn. Like from here down there was no material, and then here was like black. I didn't think a lot more about it on that day. 2 days later, I went to have tea at one of the dining facilities on camp, and I saw the same man, and he was wearing the same clothes. So I pointed him out to my interpreter and I said, that man's been wearing the same clothes for like at least 2 days. What's going on? So my interpreter called him over to our table and they sat and had a conversation. My interpreter explained to me that Zach had an injury and his clothes got burned because he was trying to escape from the Taliban during the evacuation, and at his friend's house, the Taliban busted in and threw a grenade, and it actually exploded and hit him. They ran upstairs, jumped across to their neighbor's house from the roof, ran downstairs, got in a taxi, and then drove to the airport with absolutely nothing other than the clothes that they had on and a few ID cards and a phone. Fast forward multiple weeks and he's still wearing the same clothes. Yes, the Red Cross was on base, but they were not prepared, so they didn't have clothes for everybody. He actually had to wear these burned clothes for the entire time since the evacuation. So I told my interpreter, tell him that tonight we're going to Target and we're going to buy him some new clothes because this is unacceptable. And we did that. We exchanged information. The next day we met him and gave him the clothes. Meanwhile, I had reached out to several resettlement agencies in the valley to let them know I had this Airbnb property that I would like to offer. None of the agencies got back to me. I know that they were very overwhelmed with the situation, so I wasn't surprised, but I really wanted to offer this living space for free for somebody. Because I didn't hear back from them and I had kept in touch with Zach, I reached out and I said, would you like to live in Arizona for 6 months? And he responded in the positive, and my husband picked him up on October 31st. I still wouldn't be coming home for months, so my husband took on the responsibility of becoming his case manager. Lutheran Social Services did offer case management, but again, they were so overwhelmed that we really needed to supplement what they were doing. When I got home in January 2nd, I got to know Zach much better. One of the things that I learned is that Zach was in the special forces in the Afghan military, and that is the main reason why he had to flee for his life during the evacuation. Had he stayed, he would have definitely been one of the Taliban's #1 targets due to his work with the American military. I decided it would be a good idea to take some day trips. So we travel around together, and he's really thriving. He's had a job since he got here, basically. Now, after over a year of working and getting on his feet, he's insisted to start paying rent, which he's been doing consistently without us saying anything to him about it. He just got his CDL. He starts his first driving job in 2 weeks. He's really excited about that because he'll get to see the whole country and get paid at the same time. So this is Zach's story. It's also partially my story. And I really want to share stories like this because it just goes to show that our Afghan allies are here and they're thriving. They fought alongside the US military as allies. That's why it was called Operation Allies Welcome. To continue the spirit of Operation Allies Welcome, we as Americans need to make sure that we do everything that we can to get the citizenship process expedited, to make sure it's free, and to make sure that all of our Afghan allies that are here now have everything that they need to rebuild their lives. If you want to hear more stories and more about my experience at the evacuee camp, please check out my book. I'll put the link below. If you like this video, please click like, please share. My goal for this channel and these videos is to share information about our Afghan allies, because the evacuation ended, but their stories didn't end, and their struggles certainly haven't ended. And that's why I'm going to keep making these videos and sharing these stories. I'm going to keep traveling to DC, to California, to anywhere that I might get the opportunity to help as I can. Thank you again for watching.